life. What is life? Life is not a thing. Life is a process. It's a process that makes itself, and as far as we know, it's always based on cells. Cells may be as small as a millionth of a meter, which is a micron. And these things wrap themselves into structures of their own making. And intrinsic to life is the propensity to grow, to excrete, to exchange material, and to grow, and to grow, and to grow. And this is life. Life is a way of behaving. Yes, it's material. Yes, there's DNA, there's RNA, and many other chemicals. Yes, it's carbon-based. But dead life has got the same material as live life. What do I mean? If you have a bull, and he's fighting the bullfighter, this is life. 5 minutes later, the bull is dead. There's no life there. The DNA is there, the carbon is there, the water is there, but the bull is dead. What has been lost? What has been lost is the process. And what is the process? It is the self-making process, where components from the environment are taken in and moved around and changed chemically to do what? To make more. Why? To make more. Why? To make more. Life is always expanding, always making more of itself. Now, some people use a fancy word for this, and they call it autopoiesis. That is the self-making. And this is a good word, because this word tells us that the components are taken from the environment, the energy is taken from the environment, but by what? By the live thing. The live thing keeps moving, keeps making more, keeps growing, to make more, to grow, to reproduce, to hear the telephone, to stop, we have to start again. So life is not the thing or the matter, because the matter is the same right after death. Life is the property of growing, of making oneself, making more of oneself, and so on. So what is the smallest, simplest unit, material that can do this? This is a cell. We know of nothing less complicated than a cell that has this property of making more, of growing, of making more, of growing, and eventually reproducing. But it's the self-making property of the materials, the chemicals interacting. Now, what is a cell? We have at least 3,000 proteins, maybe more. We always have those proteins wrapped up in a membrane. Who makes the proteins and the membrane? The system itself. No one makes it from the outside. The system itself makes itself. Why? To make more, to grow, to make more. Now, this property of to grow, to make more, to wrap oneself and to make more, and eventually to reproduce, this property is present in all life. Symbiosis is a very simple word and a very simple idea. It's simply the living together of unlike organisms. In fact, in the early definition, it was the living together of differently named organisms. For example, all over northern Siberia and northern Canada, one has the tundra, and the tundra is the food for the reindeer, and the people eat the reindeer. What is that food? That food is lichen. And as the early Russian botanists studied, what is this lichen? Product of symbiosis. What does that mean? It means in the lichen you have the alga, which is the green part, which is making the food, and it's teamed up with the fungi, which is the white part, and the fungi is very boring looking fuzz, and the alga is very boring looking green material. And together, when they grow together, they form, by symbiosis, the lichen. The lichen looks like a plant. It's very similar to a plant. It used to be called a plant, but we know it's not a plant, it's the product of symbiosis. Now, all biologists agree that the lichen formed by symbiogenesis. What is symbiogenesis? It is simply symbiosis leading to new kinds of evolution. What we now know, which is so different, in fact, it's different from what many people are taught today, is that it's not just the lichen that is the product of symbiogenesis. It is all animal cells, all plant cells, all fungal cells, and all protoctous cells. That is, all life on Earth that is not bacteria is product of symbiogenesis. What does that mean? It means that very different sorts of organisms came together to make a new kind of being. Now, people who work with computers know this very well. You don't start all over making the modem. You don't start all over making the hard disk. You recombine already refined parts that were already developed by others, and then you get something genuinely new